Hello, everyone, and welcome to Energy Healing TV and Podcast. My name is Robin Knott. I'm the founder of the Energy Healing School Online. If you're not already a part of our energy healing community there, please join us at theenergyhealingschool.com. I'm looking at StreamYard as it's telling me there's an issue with my live apparently on Facebook. So hopefully we're doing okay. Speaking your truth, financial freedom and speaking your truth. How does that go hand in hand? What about self-worthiness? What about self-love? Definitely plays a role in financial freedom. Do we show up for ourselves? Getting ahead of myself. Let's think about for a moment even the type of work we do. Are we doing what we love? Are we doing what makes the most money, that we think makes the most money, or that will provide that financial freedom for us? Do we enjoy the type of work we do? Or do we just feel caught in that trap? One trap of the financial trap and the other of the worthiness trap. Do I feel good enough to be able to do what I love to do, to actually receive a payment for a service that I provide? That can be a challenge all in itself when you get caught up in that worthiness trap, right? Will I speak up and say, this is what I provide, and this is the energy exchange really for that service? This is what I charge to provide the service. Some of us might feel trapped in that, to feel that maybe we should, or think that we should give everything away for free, then do everything for free. And if possible, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? It would feel nice to be able to do everything for free. However, when we have to pay for our own things, when we have to buy our own food, and maybe we provide the service online, so now we need techie stuff. We need computers, and we need microphones, and we need lighting, and we need an internet service provider, and all of these things cost money. Yeah? Do we speak up? Do we say that? Do we verbalize that? What do we say to ourselves? What do you say to yourself when you go to work every day? Go to work however many days you go. If you work outside the home, if you don't work outside the home, maybe you work at home. Maybe you're a stay-at-home parent, or you're taking care of kiddos. What do you say to yourself, right? Excuse me, I won't throw anybody under the bus, but I know that um, someone close to me had verbalized, feeling like they weren't contributing to the homestead because she was staying at home raising their son. Yeah, it's our society, right? 2023. It's very common now for both parents to work. Inflation makes it challenging to not have both parents work, depending on how much income is brought in. My apologies, my throat just got really dry before coming on here. Let me get a drink of water. So, what do you say to yourself when you're speaking your truth? We talk to ourselves first, whether we want to admit that or not. Whether we realize it or not, the mind can go on autopilot, and those habitual thought patterns just repeat themselves based on our beliefs. So, if you remember right, when we started off this financial freedom series, if you will, we started with the beliefs in the root chakra. It's the root of our experience. It's how we see our reality. It's how we experience our reality. And then that energy moves into our sacral chakra, which governs our emotions. So whatever that belief is, it's amplified by our emotions. So that might be high vibration excitement, or it might be low vibration fear. Either way, it intensifies whatever that belief may be that is rooted in the root chakra. So from the root to the sacral, and our emotions moves up into our solar plexus, which deals with human self, our self-identity, our self-esteem, how we see ourselves. Do we have the beliefs that support us? Do we have the beliefs where we criticize ourselves and beat ourselves up? Do we identify or kind of rate ourselves based on a role in our life? How we identify with that role? Do we identify with the role as a parent, as a sibling, as a child, in a career, excuse me, career title, job title, whatever that may be? Did we identify with that? Do we start to see ourselves as that? Like, that is my person, my human existence, the purpose of my existence. Or do I see it separately as a role that I step into, that I complete, that I provide? Moving into the heart chakra, where that space of transformation. So a lot of that humanness and those habitual beliefs or habitual thought patterns and the emotions and how we identify as a human being and or as a soul self, right? Because we pull in the energy of God, source, creator, and see ourselves and in the now moment in something so much bigger and in that presence, like a bigger presence, if you will, than just, quote unquote, just a human. Then moving up, as today, to speak our truth from the energy of the throat chakra. So again, how does that energy flow into the throat chakra? Is that energy coming from that higher vibrational, unconditional love of God, source, creator, in the space of our spirit and our soul? Or are we speaking from our humanness as how we identify in the lower vibrational energies that might be coming from a space of fear? I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid I'm going to get on this video and fumble. I'm afraid of success, right? What if? What if I have a video that goes viral? What if, right, my business is successful? What if I have financial freedom and I don't have to stress about the next dollar I make? What if? Yeah? We get into those what ifs and those fears and those different things, and then I might speak to that and or speak in a way to sabotage it. So if I have fears about who I am and what my intentions are, what my roles are, what my duties are, what my title is, what my job is, how do I speak to that? Am I clear and confident or in faith and flow that I do speak my highest truth and I'm speaking from the soul space? Am I speaking from the fear space where I might fumble and sabotage? So some of the other things that are coming up. Now, most of you know when I come on these videos right here, I don't script them. So I'm in flow. And I am a little wonky right now. I probably should have just been a hot minute later and centered a little more, but I was running late. Today just turned out to be very busy. And it was not planned to be, turned out to be, but it is fine because here we are. We're here and we're good. And we're in faith and flow. So what's going to come in comes in as it's meant to be. In the past, of more humanness, we might sabotage. In the past, in the humanness, or in the energy of fear, criticism, lacking self-confidence, having certain expectations, criticizing self for not, maybe my hair should be done, or, have certain makeup on, or wear certain clothing, have something scripted so that it appears a certain way. Beat myself up if that's not okay, and then sabotage it or purposely come on to, there's different ways we can sabotage ourselves, right? Not showing up at all, showing up unprepared, purposely talking about things maybe that are very different than the intended topic. Many ways we sabotage. So I'd like to ask you, I don't see anybody on right now, so if you are and I don't see you, my apologies. And if you're watching the replay, I would like to ask you, how do you sabotage yourself? Do you notice times that you sabotage yourself? My point today, I almost sabotaged by not coming on. In the moment that I'm on a live and a free flow, It feels, just feels, I don't want to say chaotic, but like I could feel that fear that wants to come in a little bit, right? That wants to sabotage my highest truth and feed into the humanness ego truth of fear and criticize. This isn't good enough. This isn't what you should be talking about. You should probably have done this, something else first. You should probably have something scripted. You should blah, 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 whatever it may be. But when you reflect back on, if you go back and look at something and you're open-minded and you just hear it, it works out as it should be, right? People come on and things are said the way they need to be said. Things drop in the way they need to drop in. It makes sense as it should, which is why I continue to do it this way. But my question is, do you notice when you sabotage? Do you notice those moments when you're almost going to make a decision and then you pull back and you don't? Do you notice that when you talk to yourself, when your mind starts going, when your ego starts chattering, do you hear what it's saying? Do you notice that it's trying to just get in the way of you making whatever move that is you're about to make? Do you notice that it's trying to, as your vibration is lifting and clear and releasing, that mind chatter is starting to talk you back down? Speaking your truth starts within as well, right? We talk about healing starts within. Part of speaking to ourselves is part of that healing process too. So let me add the financial freedom. What do we tell ourselves about financial freedom? Financial freedom has to do with greed, because to have financial freedom, you have to have money, and money is the root of all evil, right? Some of those very negative, heavy, dense, gross beliefs. Or that assumption that financial freedom means you have to be rich. Right? You have to be a multi-billionaire to have financial freedom. And somehow that makes us happy to have that level of financial freedom. I'm sure there's some things that are really exciting about that. However, I will challenge that. As you all know, I'm not any form of celebrity. I'm not the multi-billionaire. However, when we read or hear about other people's stories, right? When you hear of people, say Robin Williams, are you familiar with Robin Williams? A lot of things that go on that we don't see. We can easily make an assumption. Here is the successful movie star, TV star, humorous, funny, so we can kind of see that as part of his character or personality. And we would assume that life is great, right? But what happens? How many celebrities struggle with mental health? How many celebrities struggle in their relationships? How many celebrities struggle with addictions? Just as many as people who are not celebrities, right? The difference is they have money, we don't. We can say they have financial freedom, maybe not, because if you continue to listen to some people's stories, some get wrapped up in contracts they're really not wanting to do. But in order to keep that level of income, then they have to agree to do certain things, right? And maybe those certain things are against their own values, whatever that may be. So that's not financial freedom either, not in my perspective, not in my book. Financial freedom is literally that freedom, the freedom to be okay within our truth, honoring our own values, to be able to make a purchase if we wish, to be able to, bring in the income, that energy exchange, having that inflow and outflow that's fairly smooth without all the added stress, without having to meet all the deadlines. And of course, there are some things and some efforts and some work that we do without the stress part of that, though, right? I want to show up like this and do what I love to do, to be in service, to be able to be in service again without the stress. Sometimes we have to redefine what that means or how that looks, right? There was a time when I was trying to show up and do all the things that I absolutely loved, but there was financial stress because I wasn't bringing in enough income. There wasn't enough inflow to pay for all the things I had to pay for, right? So there was no financial freedom. That didn't fall into financial freedom there. I was speaking my truth and it was feeling great, but I wasn't allowing the inflow, the income part of that. So then I get a side gig, right, to help with that inflow financial freedom part, and I'm able to do what I love to do. But now there's that, the side gig's not really the thing. but it did allow for some level of financial freedom. So the idea then, right, is to be in the financial freedom, to have the inflow and the outflow, to love what I love, to do what I love to do, to be able to serve in the ways I love to serve, and have enough service in place to bring in the inflow as well, to provide that financial freedom. Yeah. So I can cut out any side gigs that may be filling in the gaps in the moment, um, to receive that financial freedom, to be able to fully speak my truth. Because we all also know that when we work side gigs for other people, sometimes we stifle and don't speak our truth. Yeah. Again, the mind chatter. Other ways to sabotage might be to do away with the side gig that is filling in the gap, that is helping you move towards your goals, right? Or the side sabotage might be to not allow yourself to do the things that you love as a means of financial freedom. So having that negative, egoic mind chatter, what you do isn't good enough because you're not good enough. Hear that worthiness trap? You can't do that. You can't make money like that. You're not Tony Robbins. Right? You're not Robin Williams. You're not this person. You're not that person. Let me compare you to everyone. That's not speaking your truth. That is the ego and a negative thought pattern, and that providing that habitual grossness, saying that you're not worthy, overly criticizing to bring you down. That's not my truth. My truth is beyond that, right? But I have to clear all that stuff out to transmute it, to allow myself to experience and speak my truth. So, what I am saying to myself is going to help determine what I'm saying to you, what I say in service, what I say to anyone for that matter. It starts with me, though, right? Another piece about speaking our truth that I think we often skip over or don't pay attention to is the listening piece. So if you've been around me and listened to me speak before and go through the chakras and go through my acronym of Best You and talk about speaking your truth and talk about communication styles, we also talk about listening styles as part of that communication. How we listen to ourself, our highest self. Do we listen to our highest self? How can I speak my truth from that space of my soul, of my spirit, if I'm plugging my ears, so to speak, with my human ego? I can't. If I don't allow myself to hear and listen to my soul, to truly listen to God, Source Creator, I'm only going to repeat and speak out or project out the low vibrational ego humanness. So the old beliefs of money, the old beliefs of financial freedom, the old assumptions and expectations and criticisms and labels and titles, all human egoic stuff, right, will only be regurgitated if I stay in that space and I don't transmute it. So speaking your truth, when I say your truth, I truly mean from our soul space, our spirit, trying to lift above and beyond the human ego part of us. So if you also have gotten caught up in the worthiness trap, again, it's a trap because it doesn't actually exist. Worthiness in itself is a human ego-ness thing. Humanness, ego thing. Stumbling over words again. Worthiness exists across the board for all of us in spirit. We are worthy. Can we speak from worthiness? Let's say worthiness is now our truth. Worthiness is your truth. You are worthy as you are. Speak that truth. Not the defense, not projecting it with human ego uh, justifications, but from that space of your soul, of spirit. Would your highest self, in that space of worthiness, tell you you don't deserve financial freedom? Would it tell you that you need to struggle? Would it tell you that making any money is wrong and evil and greedy? Would it tell you that the service you provide isn't good enough? It makes me even think about fast food. Can you relate to this? Have you kind of either grown up hearing or believing wherever this drops in from? They're like, ooh, I'm not going to work at a fast food place. I'm not working at McDonald's. I can't do that. Nope, that's not good enough. It's not good enough for me. I don't want to be seen in that light that I'm only working at McDonald's. I need to be a doctor, a lawyer, business owner, whatever, right? There's those differences in titles. One's down here and one's up here in prestige, right? Do we do that to ourselves? Do we sabotage? What truth do you speak from? Our highest soul spirit self could care less what our title is, by the way. Our highest soul self, God's source creator, could care less if we work at McDonald's, work at a hotel, if we're a life coach, a mental health therapist, a doctor, a lawyer, a judge. Like, could care less. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Cares more if we're stressing out or not. Cares more if, not that, the soul doesn't care if the bills are paid. The soul cares if you're carrying the energy of stress because the bills aren't paid. Make sense? The soul doesn't care what job you do to make money as long as, let me add this in because there is energy involved in this, as long as, you're not harming anyone to make it, right? We have those outliers, of course, as humans. Some humans do things that harm other people to make their money. Of course, our soul is not going to be okay with that. That is not the same type of energy as providing a service, whether it's here's your hamburger or welcome to the hotel, here's your key cards, or, come in, have a seat, and we'll provide a therapy session, or go to a doctor's office, right? It's the energy of the job we do, but what energy do we tell ourselves? What is the ego saying about what we do? If you're a stay-at-home parent, and I'm saying parent, it doesn't matter if you're the mom or the dad, if you're a stay-at-home parent or care provider, maybe you're not the parent, but you're providing care for the children. That's massive. How over the years did that get so dishonored? Like, it doesn't bring in cash money, so now it doesn't carry value anymore. What? You're raising a human. You're raising a human. That's huge. It's a struggle to live in our society to raise humans without an income. Absolutely. But as far as value, worthiness, right? Raising a human. And I don't know, we can all bash the person who works at a fast food restaurant, flipping a burger, handing it out the window, but most of us have driven up to that window and asked for the hamburger. So somebody kind of had to make it for us and bring it to us, right? How we start to determine what's worthy and what isn't, and then how we internalize what's worthy and what isn't, and how we look at ourselves when we have those roles and what role we're in, right? Or again, the stress that comes with it. At a point in time, some people might think I'm a bit out. Okay, so I'm a little bit out there, but I like that part of me. But there are some people who don't have the understanding of my choices. Not that I expect them to, and they don't need to be fair, but just to share. To me, in a sense, this is financial freedom if I chose to do it in a way that didn't bring the stress with it, right? So I'll share. So I go to college, yeah, I get my degree, I stress out about the licensure, I get my license to be a mental health therapist. I did that type of work for a while, but then I shift and I leave it. Some might find that ridiculous. Like, how do you go to school, spend all the time and the money and the work to get to this point, right? Because this is like your career goals and this is, the thing you're going to do and you feel like it's your purpose in life and you make those decisions but then life kind of shifts and changes and then your perspectives kind of shift and change and then you find out there's other things that are ways you can be in service. So you change it. To me, that's freedom. That's freedom. Just because I went to college and got a degree in social work does not mean now that I have to be, quote unquote, have to be a social worker for the rest of this human life experience. No, it does not. Thank you very much. I can choose to be. I'm glad I have that option. I don't have to be. I don't have to be. Even years before that, in my younger, not that far, younger years, just being silly, I worked at a factory that paid very, very well. Very hard to get into, paid very well. I loved it. People thought I was crazy then. How would people, have a hard time getting into that kind of place? You get in and you leave it? Yep, sure did. Freedom was more important, and I valued the freedom more than the dollar. Again, finding balance, speaking our truth and not completely sabotaging because I went to extremes and sabotaged some things. But to speak your truth and stand up for your highest soul self to get to the position that you want to get to, that you really feel in service, where you can value what you're doing and you value yourself in it and you feel worthy of it. You feel worthy in providing it and you feel worthy enough to receive the energy exchange in order to continue to provide it, right? Inflow and outflow is all part of the process. We know that we have beliefs that need clearing when we sabotage. We know that we have beliefs that need clearing when we think we're speaking, I'm doing air quotes, think we're speaking our truth when we're doing the mind chatter of the things that tell us we're not good enough. When we start pulling from that worthiness trap and then beating ourselves up or criticizing ourselves because we believe we're not good enough. That's not our truth. That's egoness, humanness, thinking it's true. That's not true. It's just limiting beliefs that we can clear out and change and transmute to speak from our highest soul self. It's like, do what makes you happy? Are you happy? Great. Are you hurting anyone? No? Perfect. Yep, do more of that. Financial freedom. Financial freedom, in essence, doesn't have a dollar amount to it. It's relative for each of us. We get to decide what it means to be financially free. Each and every one of us. That dollar amount may look very different. If it's $1 billion, then it's $1 billion for you, right? If it's $1 million, it's $1 million for you. If it's so much per year, so be it. What is it for you? And do you already have it? So listening to your soul, this to speak your truth, the not the humanist truth, right? To hear your soul truth, to quiet. I don't want to say silence, right? Because we agreed last video, was it? We're not going to beat up our ego. We're meeting our ego with love and compassion. So let's listen to our ego, because our ego is letting us know what's blocking us. Okay. We're not going to ignore and avoid it, because then we won't have any idea. We're just going to keep speaking and thinking as our truth, and it's our ego that's stuck in this cycle of blockness. Listen to your soul. And then when you hear your soul, hold the space for the human ego-ness that's freaking out, thinking that that's not a safe place to be in, or assuming that we're not worthy of it. And be mindful and aware of what you're saying to yourself. I can tell you all day long, you can tell me all day long how worthy we are, and we know we are. Because we do have enough beliefs that support that knowing that we are enough, that we are worthy as we are. And then something happens, and you're like, why? But why am I broke? Why don't I have any money? Why does it always seem like something comes up? Why does it always seem like, oh, I had to spend my money here or there? Why does it always seem like, right? Why does it seem like? Did we sabotage ourselves? Did we overspend? Did we just kind of go, oh, yeah, this is cool. Let me go spend this money. And since I spent the money, something came up. Now I don't have it. So I put myself in a predicament again. Sabotage. I created that situation because I didn't feel worthy of having it. I didn't feel worthy of just sitting on money or investing it in something, investing it in me, or investing it in my well-being. I didn't feel it was okay to feel comfortable with the amount of money I had because I'm supposed to be stressed about it, right? Ego talk, humanness, unworthiness, or worthiness trap. Underspending, overspending, anything that makes it wobble, anything that shakes the ability to feel freedom financially, anything that shakes the ability to feel that worthiness. And again, it's only a feeling of worthiness. We are already, it's just whether we feel it or not, whether we believe it or not. Yeah, I think that's all I have for today. So I hope it made sense. Drop it in the comments if you have any questions. Drop it in the comments if you heard something you can relate to or that you resonate with or that came up for you when you heard something. How do you feel about the worthiness trap? Do you speak your humans or your soul self truth? Do you speak your humanness truth? Do you tell yourself that you're worthy of financial freedom? Do you allow yourself to feel the guidance from God's source creator to lead you to that space of financial freedom? Or do you allow the humanness part of you, that negative mind chatter, to say, oh, can't do that. Not you. You're just whatever. You're not carrying the title of A, B, or C that is permitted and worthy of having financial freedom. You're just a fast food worker. You're just a hotel worker. You're just a maintenance worker. You're not a doctor. You're not a lawyer. You don't own big businesses. You don't get to have all those things. You're just a human. Like, psst, all those other ones, they're just human too. Just saying, right? Just saying. And we're all worthy though. We're all just worthy. Okay. I think that's it. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what your thoughts are if you have any questions, and I will see you next week. We will talk about more of the self-awareness, the higher awareness in observer mode, observing how we think and feel about money and financial freedom. Oh, I did not talk about that. As we're speaking our truth, how are we speaking towards money? Think about that. So if someone hands you a dollar bill, this was my big thing, hands up and a stop. No, thank you. I can't accept that. Because I was taught that if you take from someone else, so I misunderstood apparently what take means. Like if I provide a service and I'm receiving the energy exchange for the service provided, maybe that's not the same as taking, but in my mind, my ego was like, yes, it is. Don't take the payment for the service. You pay for services, but you don't take the money when you provide the service, right? Hand up, stop. No, thank you. Sabotage. Negative human talk of unworthiness. But what am I saying to money then, right? What kind of energy am I projecting on money? I don't want you. I don't need you. You're not welcome to be around me, right? I'm not receiving you. So how do you call in money when you're like, shh, I try to come by you, but you just push me away, right? That's not speaking my truth. What kind of truth am I spewing onto that money? Or money comes to me and then I give it away. I'm either giving it all away or I'm blowing it all, right? Spending it all. Like, oh, it was great you came in, but now you need to go. What can I spend you on? Where can I send you off to? What kind of energy am I giving the money? Do I see that money as being evil? Do I see it as energy? It's part of what's something used as energy exchange so that we can live this human life experience because that's the type of society and world we live in right now, in that type of dimension. What do you say to money when money comes to you? Or is it gimme, 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 gimme? Come here, come here, come here. You're all mine. Nobody else deserves to have it. You're all mine. Now I'm throwing greed on you. Might sound silly, but it's something to think about because we are all energy. Everything is, right? Everything is energy. So, what am I projecting? What are you projecting onto money in those ways that you try to receive it or don't receive it? Let's go deeper. So, masterclass is in the creation and boot camp is in creation. And if you haven't already, the 5-day Money Blocks Clearing Challenge is in self-study mode at theenergyhealingschool.com. Take a look. We do talk about all these things more of the money blocks, the energy of money, the different types of energy that we may spew on money, where those things come from, and how we can heal them and clear them out. So thank you for sharing your time and space with me. I will see you next week. So much love.